Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to Stokes Sounds Off. I'm your host, James Stokes. In view of his birthday yesterday, President D. Todd Christofferson is now 81 years old, so let's get right on into a birthday tribute to him. David Todd Christofferson was born on the 24th of January 1945 in American Fork, Utah, a place I proudly claim as my hometown, to Paul Vickery and Jean Swenson Christofferson. He spent his formative years in Pleasant Grove and Linden, and his family subsequently relocated to Somerset, New Jersey. While there, he participated in the annual Hill Cumorah pageant, and, having been urged by his bishop to do so, he earnestly sought for a personal testimony of the gospel. Although he felt for a while that his prayer at that time had not been answered, the witness he was seeking came about a month later. At around this same time, his mother was diagnosed with cancer and underwent surgery for it. While his father learned later that he had gathered his brothers to pray for their mom, it would be years later that President Christofferson learned about his father's personal sacrifices to supply what his wife needed to help her with the housework. Young Todd Christofferson also stepped in to help his mom by making homemade bread for his family after being taught how to do so by his grandmother. After graduating from high school, he studied for a year at BYU prior to serving full-time in the Argentina North Mission, where he had two mission presidents, Ronald V. Stone and his future colleague in the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, Richard G. Scott. Following the conclusion of his missionary service, he returned to BYU, and there he met Kathy Jacob, whom he married in May 1968. He earned his bachelor's degree from BYU and went on to get a Doctor of Law degree from the School of Law at Duke University. During his years as a young attorney, he clerked for Judge John J. Sirica at the time the Watergate hearings were occurring. When his clerkship ended, he took active duty with the U.S. Army for a year, after which he served in the Army Reserves for 8 more years, by which time he had achieved the rank of captain. His professional career took his family to Washington, D.C., Nashville, Tennessee, and Charlotte, North Carolina. During that same period of time, he would serve as a bishop, stake president, and in the now defunct calling of regional representative to the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. After being called as a general authority in April 1993, at the same time as Elder Neil O. Anderson, alongside whom he now serves in the apostleship, he served in a variety of capacities, including as a member of area presidencies outside the United States, until his call to the presidency of the 70 in August 1998. During his service in that presidency, he first served as the executive director for the church's Family and Church History Department, which has since been split into 2 separate departments, where he worked to negotiate with Jewish religious leaders on the matter of performing temple ordinances for Holocaust victims, which in turn shaped the policy of the church members only being allowed to perform such ordinances for direct line family members. In 2004, the First Presidency announced that the presidency of the 70 would be relieved of responsibility for the church departments and would instead oversee areas in the United States and Canada. Elder Christofferson was given responsibility for the North America Southeast area of the church from August 2004 to August 2007, at which time he was reassigned to oversee the North America Northwest and North America West areas. He continued that assignment for 8 months, then, as we know, he was the first apostle called by President Thomas S. Monson in April 2008. At the time of his release from the presidency of the 70, which came in conjunction with his call as an apostle, he had become the second most senior member thereof. During his first 7 years as a member of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, as noted, Elder Christofferson served alongside his former mission president, Richard G. Scott. Since his ordination as an apostle, Elder Christofferson has filled a wide variety of assignments, and he was serving as the senior member of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles assigned to oversee the Church's Public Affairs Committee when he was asked by President Russell M. Nelson to introduce the new First Presidency in a worldwide broadcast on January 16, 2018. After President Nelson died last year, President Christofferson was called by new church president Dallin H. Oaks to serve as his second counselor in the First Presidency. Given that the last two solemn assemblies have been led by the second counselor in the First Presidency, I am projecting that President Christofferson will lead the solemn assembly to sustain President Oaks in April. President Christofferson has given 42 addresses in General Conference so far, one of which was given in the conference following his call as a general authority, with 5 others given during his near decade in the presidency of the 70, and the remaining 36 as a member of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. President Christofferson currently ranks as the junior and youngest member of the current First Presidency. He is now also the 6th in overall apostolic seniority and the 5th oldest among all of the apostles. I am grateful for the life and ministry of President D. Todd Christofferson. I had a couple of choice opportunities to meet him. His niece and her family lived in my parents' ward, so when their newest baby was blessed, then Elder Christofferson presided at our sacrament meeting. A few years later, our paths crossed again while I was a temple worker, and he was the speaker at our yearly devotional. As one who has had the opportunity to chat informally with him on these 2 occasions, I testify that his call as one of the Savior's special witnesses is divinely inspired. I greatly appreciate the chance to share these thoughts with you all here. I invite you all to stay tuned here for my coverage of the latest updates from the Church News, the Newsroom, and the Church of Jesus Christ Temple sites. I'll be sure to pass word of those developments along to you all here as soon as time and my circumstances allow me to do so. In the meantime, that does it for now. All comments are, as always, welcome and appreciated on any video or short at any time, as long as all such feedback is made in accordance with the established guidelines. I hope any of you who would like to share anything will take your opportunity to sound off in the comments section below. If you liked what you watched here and would like to stay informed of newly added videos and shorts, please consider subscribing to receive the applicable updates. Thank you for the privilege of your time. Until next time, I wish you all the best and pray that the Lord will bless you all in everything you do.